All right, let's get things popping, y'all. What's up? What's happening? Salute to the tribe. Just got done working out, man. Look, man, dating is done. Okay, dating is done. Go out and about, live your life, and allow women to approach you. This is the proper way that things should be. Should have been like this. Um, for at least a few years now, with the way that the environment is set by Me Too and women's rights and things of that nature. I don't think it's even proper for a man to be invading a woman's space by approaching her. I don't care what they say online. Honestly, I think it's entrapment. Like you got women telling you to approach women, and most women don't want to be bothered. So and they'll still say, oh, we want, but they only want certain guys to approach, and it's a small group of men. So do you feel lucky that day? Are you willing to risk everything for it? Especially if you have any kind of social media following, they're gonna look you up and try to find a way to ruin your life. Trust and believe that. Look, the focus needs to be on you, and it should have always been that way. But listen, man, let me tell you something. I do think I've rethought this. I do think Generation Z will be the game changer, and it's because of the men in Generation Z. Because here's the thing, we end up conflating. Make sure my mic is on. Just out here rambling. Get myself in the time. Make sure the mic was set. Oh man, I hope the audio is working. We've been conflating Generation Z as a whole, but it already started with the rest of the generations in the past 10 years. But this new generation is growing up on the internet, already knows where the divide is at. So it's not just Gen Z, it's the Gen Z men and not versus, but the Gen Z women. They're two different people. If you look at the Gen Z males, from what they're saying online, they've stopped dating at like what, 60 something, 70%. These guys are getting online, getting their businesses right. They're also working. Gen Z also, don't be scared to work a regular job, working jobs, saving your money up and doing it the old fashioned way, because you got everybody trying to compete online. But if you do it the old fashioned way, working regular jobs like we used to, like Subway, working at gas stations, whatever, building your money up that way, and then putting yourself in position where you're getting some certifications, some IT certifications or something like that, or getting into plumbing or getting a good trade, school certification, you can slide in that kind of way. Do it the old school way. You got to do things differently than the way that everybody's doing right now. Everybody's looking for that big break online. So you're competing with every generation, whereas you getting them jobs that people don't want to do anymore, like just regular everyday working jobs that you're starting to see a bunch of migrants and stuff working. Get in there, build your base up, get your money right, get that paper, and just start there. But the Generation Z, the whole generation is an observer generation due to the fact that they were raised on the internet. So the whole thing is they're raising themselves on the internet. Like, so as a parent, because it's part of their life, you just have to be watching what they're watching and taking them off the internet like I do with my kid and making them do stuff, monitoring who he's on the internet with. But this generation of men are not self-destructive. So what I'm noticing a lot about Gen Z dudes is like they watching to see how to live the best, live the longest, using it as a source for information like they're supposed to. I see the Gen Z females weaponizing it, right? Just straight up weaponizing the internet. And the Gen Z males are like, I don't want to end up like Unc or OG over here or him, and I want to listen to what he's saying about how to make sure I avoid it and get where he's at without having to go through the trauma. Like, they're watching things differently. But the Gen Z females are just picking up on the plight of the prior generation, and they're victimizing themselves. They haven't had any skin in the game to really make claim to anything, but they're already victims, and they're online spewing the stuff that the older generation of women are saying. But the older generation of women had to actually go through some stuff, hence the Me Too and whatnot. This is a generation past Me Too. This generation grew up past that. All this stuff has been changed, and they're saying the same stuff. So the Gen Z males are like, nah, they got enough sense to know, get away from them. That's why a lot of these cougar chicks are talking about these younger guys are messing with them. Of course, it's always been that way, but it's an increase in them because that their generation of females are cooked. They're out here just, slanging coochie. They want to use words. We need to start boycotting certain words that the internet has introduced us to that we didn't know nothing about when we were younger, and it all seems to be words that are weaponizing things, in the direction of males, because when narcissism and narcissists came out, they're really trying to target men and try to have the traits of a narcissist be kind of a few of them being things that men just do. And then the internet took it over, ran with it, and most women were like, "Oh, this guy's a narcissist." You see what I'm saying? We have to boycott that. We have to boycott emotional intelligence. I know I've said it before, but I've given it some good thought here lately. And I was watching a Rich Cooper video live stream where this woman, she made me rethink a lot of the stuff I say about like spiritual stuff. I need to keep some of that stuff to myself because I don't talk like her, but she made me so disgusted with myself. Like she was on there, just this chick named Anastasia. She was just babbling nonsense and made everything. I'm a spiritualist, and she made everything about that look crazy. She must be like a tarot reader or something like that, man, because she was talking. She was talking about, you guys are just men are nowadays are doing everything off logic and they don't use emotional intelligence. And so what they've done is, let's break down emotional intelligence. It's a new term, it's come out. And what they're doing, let's think about this from a broader perspective. What they're doing is they're giving women a way to make it seem like what they're doing makes sense by coming up with new terms to justify their emotional reactions. So narcissist comes out, they put most of the traits just being men in their masculine frame. Not all of the traits, but just some, like a lot of dudes are in their ego, and we have to, for survival reasons you got to have some ego. So they have all that stuff skewed up. And then this emotional intelligence thing is really trying to apply intelligence to emotion, and you can't do that. So you've given women a way to make emotions and emotional reactions intelligent, and it's not. So the whole phrase makes no sense. It's like an oxymoron. Emotional intelligence. No. Your intelligence is going to keep your emotions in check. Your emotions are fleeting. So we got to get rid of the whole terminology, because what's going to happen is, and what has happened, there isn't no real dictionary definition that has stood the test of time over decades that we can rely on. This is something brand new. It might not even hold the test of time over the next 5 years. So they're throwing this thing out, and it's giving women what they do is they do this all the time. It's like, I would almost feel like it's AI. They've gotten the artificial intelligence to, when we start making some headway with things, making logic out of things as men, the artificial intelligence will roll out something new, emotional intelligence. So now you have women that are emotional trying to explain it, that it's any, I can't even put it in a word. It's an intelligence to this emotional way of living. No, there is no intelligence to it. You're living off your fleeting emotions. And I'm done trying to allow this to even, live, manifest itself. We need to give it no air. We need to shut that down from now on, this emotional intelligence term, because look, it ain't going to stop with that. There's going to be other terms that's going to come out that is going to justify women's emotional reactions to things, and them moving off emotions, living off emotions, and thinking it's okay. All that they're doing are finding different ways to make sure women aren't held accountable. Men, for the most part, unless they're spiritual like me, and I ain't gonna lie, I've used it a lot. So you guys, that's my bad, man. Okay, nobody's perfect, but you live and you learn and you grow. Most men don't use that term. Most men shut it down. Women use it. I'm seeing a lot of women using it, and they're not using it in the way that it should be used. Okay, because the way that most men that have sense interpret emotional intelligence is just having an intellectual way of looking at the way your emotions function, how to transmute, anger, things like that, into something that you can use as fuel. And how to have empathy for people and not let it, not allow yourself to feel sorry for them, but have empathy. This is the way men interpret it, like you're supposed to. Women are taking it and they're trying to make logic of their emotional moments, and it's ugly, it's disgusting, it's weird. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want no part of it. And they're going to come out with more terminologies to justify women so they don't have to be held accountable. I don't know what else is going to come out here soon, but it'll be something new. And it's emotional intelligence thing. We got to shut it down. Ask that woman what is her interpretation of emotional intelligence. And if I guarantee you, all it's going to be is her trying to rationale her emotional moments. Just like that woman Anastasia on that Rich Cooper podcast, she was talking over guys. She was talking over women. He had to mute her. How was that any kind of way intelligent or professional? Any of that? It's emotional. And you can't intelligently operate in emotion. Just like the woman articulated on that video, if men were to, because the woman was like, we got to use our emotions more. No, what happens is you have a group of females out here. I'm going to let you guys go. This ran way too long. We have a group of females out here. They can't stand everything that there is about a real traditional man. Now, one of these modern men that are kind of sassy and flamboyant and think, yeah, they good with that, right? Because those males take on the personification of a woman. They're following women, so they're good with that. But a traditional man that follows God, they can't stand it. So what they do is they try to use words, right? Witchcraft, to use the English bastardized language to articulate that, hey, the way that you are is wrong. You're morally sound. You're a follower of God and values and things of that nature. You're wrong. You're too logical. The way women move through emotion is the right way to do it because we're more in touch with our emotion. And so we're not like robots. No. You're emotional. You're not more in touch with your emotions. You're emotional. And you're in a society where you're allowed to live out your emotions. Whereas a man does that, going to jail. You're going to jail. And if you ain't going to jail, then you're going to end up 6 feet under. So you have to move logically in accordance with the laws that have been put in place so that everybody can be safe. You as females don't have to. A lot of y'all can get out of things that a man would end up, like I said, going to jail or 6 feet under. So I'm done with that terminology and anything else where I've just figured out where they're consistently coming up with terminologies to justify female toxic bad behavior and to make men just being regular men seem toxic just in their nature. So what they're doing is they're allowing for this kind of hatred to manifest itself and seem logical, and it's not. It's in no kind of way a logical thing. It's just hurt women that are projecting their traumas without healing on the other hurt women and blaming men for all it's men's fault. And no, this emotional intelligence thing is another way for them to allow women to escape accountability, period, point blank. But I'm not going to another video because I ain't done with that. Anyway, y'all, let's talk about it in the comment section. Do you agree, disagree? Ladies, y'all can check in if you want to. I'm sure you got a paragraph to explain what you think emotional intelligence is, which again, you're proving my point. You're getting emotionally triggered by what I said, a total stranger, and then feeling like you need to check me. Or how in the world is that intelligent? How is that? No. Rather stay based in logic and reality. Okay. All right. I'm your brother and I love you. Salute, man. That's what's happening. I'm out.
In this game, you gotta have that dog in you.
Made in America.